Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. Today I'll be giving a short review on the LC500 and I hope you enjoy it. The Lexus LC500 and LC500H are the striking result of a brand throwing away its rulebook. Fed up with fighting against German premium car makers, Lexus bosses decided that they would do everything they could to get noticed, and believe you me, this car does exactly that. If you haven't yet done so, please subscribe to my channel. Videos are uploaded weekly, and make sure to hit the bell icon so that you get notified every time I upload a video. If you like the video, please hit the like button, and if you have any questions, please post them in the comment section below and I'll try to answer as best and honest as I can. This is a luxury coupe with a sufficient smattering of performance, drama and driver involvement to hold the interest of a sports car enthusiast, but it's a grand tourer first and foremost. Buyers can choose from two engine types. The LC500 is powered by a whopping great old-school naturally aspirated 467 brake horsepower V8 with a 10-speed automatic gearbox. The more efficient alternative is the LC500H, a hybrid model that links a 295 brake horsepower 3.5 litre V6 petrol engine to an electric motor to deliver a total power output of 354 brake horsepower. There are three trim levels: Standard, Sport Pack and Sport Plus Pack, with each step dialing up the characteristics of the car in the way that their name suggests. Lexus also offers a soft top version like the one I'm driving here. It's so easy to slip towards mainstream buying habits, follow the crowd, and in this case almost automatically drop into the driving seat of a BMW 8 Series convertible, a Porsche 911 Cabriolet, or even a Bentley Continental GT convertible. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that. They're all stupendous cars that many people would, quite rightly, swap their least favorite child for. But just sometimes it feels good to be different, doesn't it? And with this Lexus LC500 convertibles, swoops and slashes stylistically, it looks like nothing else on the road. Well, except for the Lexus LC Coupe it's based on. If you're looking at the LC and thinking that it's as modern as a 2-week holiday on Mars, it has a lovely surprise for those with their little toe dipped in the warm waters of yesteryear. A wild, thundering, naturally aspirated 5-litre V8. And what better way to realize the full potential of a warbling V8 than in a convertible? Prices for the convertible in the UK start from just under £100,000, available in 5 trims. The LC convertible isn't available with the 295 brake horsepower 3.5 litre V6 petrol hybrid engine you can get in the Lexus LC Coupe. Just a 5 litre V8, but who needs choice when the lack of its forces you down the route of a naturally aspirated V8 that plays a tune like this? Seriously, if you enjoy the sound of a big capacity petrol engine, you'll love it. It's smooth and waffly when you're boulevarding, but when you hit the accelerator hard and rev it past 7,000 RPM, it takes on a highly tuned racing timbre. It sounds sensational. The LC convertible is also more responsive than any of its rivals. That's because there are no turbochargers to elasticize the connection between its accelerator pedal and engine. Instead, you're treated to an instantaneous but gentler pull the second your foot goes down, but it's still healthy enough in the mid-range, then builds and builds before striking an exciting frenzy at 4,500 RPM, and beyond that will carry you to a 0 to 62 mph time of 5 seconds flat. The 10-speed automatic gearbox occasionally gets confused and hesitates, but more often than not it's slick and quick with the changes, especially on the downshifts in manual mode. If you pop the driving mode to sport, it stiffens the adaptive suspension just the right amount for bumpy roads and removes the loose body float. The LC turns into corners keenly and feels light and grippy enough to throw around gamely. Compared with its four-wheel drive rivals such as the Continental GT convertible and the 8 Series, it's not as locked down as the traction side as you power out of bends, but if you enjoy something more playful, we think you'll enjoy the rear-wheel drive LC's liveliness. When you get into the Lexus LC convertible, you drop down low into an electronically adjustable driver's seat that scoops you like a baseball glove. It supports you through fast corners and during prolonged stretches of motorway driving. Because you sit quite low and have a small rear screen and blind spot inducing drop top roof, this isn't the easiest car to see out of, but that's true of all its convertible rivals. And the LC comes with front and rear parking sensors and a rear view camera to help you out with such everyday antiques. The LED headlights are very bright too. The digital instrument display is so clear that it makes the optional head-up display unnecessary. There are a number of simple switches to operate necessities such as the climate control, but if you need any of the more in-depth features, the heated seats or neck warmers for example, you have to delve into the infotainment system, and that's the LC's weakest point. Firstly, there's the touch controller, which should operate along the lines of the trackpad on your laptop, except that A, you don't tend to operate that at 70 miles per hour on the M1, and B, the one on your laptop probably works, right? The LC's doesn't. it's almost impossible to direct to where you want to without overshooting to the next icon. So while we always say that touchscreens are distracting to use while driving, compared with a screen in the Porsche 911 Cabriolet, it's a breeze. The system in the BMW 8 Series Convertible, with its simple, predictable rotary controller and shortcut buttons, is by far the best in the class though. The LC's infotainment menus are also quite confusing, but the software is generally responsive and you have lots of features, including a high-quality 10.3-inch screen, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto phone mirroring, built-in sat-nav and a 12-speaker stereo. But hi-fi buffs would take the option box for the Mark Levinson 17-speaker audio system, which relatively speaking isn't expensive and sounds bloomin' marvelous. Now let's talk about the interior, which is also fabulous. It looks sensational, with a modern eye-catching design that involves lots of different finishes that could look fussy but don't. The LC Convertible has a plushness that the 8 Series, with its direct bloodline to a 3 Series interior, doesn't quite pull off, and it's just as beautifully built. It even makes the Aston Martin DB11 interior feel a bit well budget, even though the DB11 costs an awful lot more. The Bentley Continental GT Convertible costs a lot more too, but the car's interior is even more exquisite. There's plenty of room for two in the front of the Lexus LC Convertible. The interior is also wide enough to separate you from your passengers without losing the intimacy you want from a sporting GT's interior. That's all dandy then, and there's plenty of space for your accessories in and among the various cubbies. But then you hit the practicality buffers. Their rear seats, for example, they're there, but only in spirit. They're so tiny that nothing more material than a ghost could fit in them. The Lexus LC Convertibles is certainly not a cheap car, but everything is relative. Next to the Aston Martin DB11 Volante, Bentley Continental GT Convertible and Porsche 911 Cabriolet, it's a bit of a steal. As for running costs, the V8 engine swirls petrol eagerly when you exercise the right foot, but at cruise it's fairly efficient thanks to the 10-speed automatic gearbox. In top gear, the engine bumbles along below 2000 RPM at 70 miles per hour. You get a lot of equipment for your money, including 20-inch alloy wheels, automatic LED headlights, keyless entry and start, heated and cooled leather seats, adaptive suspension and a 12-speaker sound system. It's our pick of the range, but for a small outlay, the Sport Pack Plus adds some genuinely useful features, including a limited slip differential, 12-inch alloy wheels, carbon fiber tread plates and net heaters. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I hope you have a fantastic day.